Hello dears, today's topic is about letter writing. Today we'll discuss about the types of letters and formats of letters. Letter writing is one of the oldest means of communication. Letters were used to send information and greetings. So basically we have two types of letters. We have business letter and personal letter. First of all, in business letter is always a formal letter, and we write it to the collector, editor, manager, director, etc. And it's all for the official purpose. And then we have the personal letter. Personal letter is an informal letter, where compared to the business letter, that's always formal, and personal letter is an informal letter. It is written to the family members, to friends, to colleagues, to relatives, etc. And this is always used for the personal purpose. After the types of letter writing, we have the formats of letter. So full block and semi block. These are the two formats of letter writing. Now, what is the difference between the full block and the semi block? That's clearly seen in these two graphs. So full block letter starts with completely left align. Okay, completely left alignment, and nothing comes to the right side. It's completely over the left side, and that's all left aligned letter. That's called the full block letter. And semi block letter is changed from that. It's starting from the top right corner and then switches back to the left side, and in the end it ends again on the right side. So this is the difference between the full block letter and semi block letter. After the types and formats of letters, we are heading to the parts of letters. So we have different parts of letters. The first one is the heading. The heading, or you can name it the sender's address. Whoever is sending the letter, that person will write his own address. The second thing is the date on which he is sending the letter. And then the third part is the insider address or the receiver's address. To whom you are sending, the person who is receiving your letter, that person's address. After that we have the greeting or the salutation. The fourth part is the greeting and salutation. After that, the fifth part is the body of the letter. After the body, we have the complimentary clause, and then we have the signature line where we make our signature, and finally we write the name. So this is simply the structure. First of all, we have the sender's address, the heading or sender's address. So this part is all about the sender's address, means my own address to whoever I am sending. And then is the date. The second part is the date. Just below the sender's address, we will mention the date. After that date, we are mentioning the receiver's address. Whoever we are sending the letter, we will write that address. And then is the part that is all about the greetings. There is the mid part. The long part is the body of the letter. After the body, we have the complimentary clause, signature, and the name. So this is all about the parts of letters. Now I will tell you the comparison between the business letter and the personal letter. So basically, in the business letter, we have first of all the sender's address. Sender's address, the one who is sending his address. Second thing is the date of the day on which you are sending your letter. And then we have the receiver's address. The receiver's address to whom you are sending the letter. After the receiver's address, we have salutation. Sender's address, date, receiver's address, and salutation. Then we move towards the body of the letter. You know, the difference between personal letter and business letter is little, not very much, but there is a slight difference in the addresses in the body as well. So the body, the complete body of the letter, here in the business letter, the body starts with the reference. Reference to any aid, reference to any letter, reference to any news you write. You refer to that, okay? And then the mid part is the purpose. The purpose of writing the letter. What is the purpose? Why are you writing this letter to this gentleman? And finally, we have conclusion. This is mainly the parts of body. So first, reference, purpose, and conclusion. Here we have the complementary clause. After the complementary clause, we get the signature and name. So do remember, in the business letter, first part is the sender's address, the date, the receiver address, and the salutation. After that, we have the body. In the body, we have reference, purpose, conclusion. And complementary clause, the signature line, the place for signature, and the name. Now in the personal letter, first of all, we have the same as that was sender's address. After the sender's address, we have the date. There is a slight difference. Here we had the receiver's address, but we don't mention the receiver's address in the personal letter. Here we directly go for the greetings. Greetings or salutation. Now, here in this greeting, we mentioned respected madam, respected sir, clear? But in the personal letter, we don't mention such things like respected sir, respected madam. Instead, we use dear, dear friend, dear Ali, whatever is the name you mention, clear? Dear cousin. Now, in the body, there is again a slight difference between the business letter and the personal letter. In the business letter, we had first of all the reference in the starter, and here we have the introduction. You have to introduce yourself to whom you are writing. After the introduction, the second part is as same, purpose, and finally conclusion. After conclusion, we have the complementary clause. And then we have the signature, complementary clause, signature, and in last we write the name. There's again a little difference, slight difference in the complementary clause. Here we write yours faithfully, yours sincerely, but here you write your lovely friend, these kind of complementary clauses. So this is basically the difference between the business letter and personal letter. Today we discuss about the letter writing, the types of letters, the formats, the parts of letters, and we also differentiated between the business letter and the personal letter. That was all for today. Meeting you next time with another interesting video. Try not to forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you so much.